developed of good people, people who are looking for an opportunity to volunteer, an opportunity to give their time. They're concerned about education, but they perhaps don't have the expertise. They've not served on a board before, or they just don't have the time to really commit to that role on the board. And so it's really important to provide training to the boards and to make sure that board members understand that beyond being a volunteer commitment, you are taking on some fiscal responsibility and you're taking on some governing responsibility, and it's important that you understand that and are able to carry out those roles. Unfortunately, in the state of Missouri, board training that typically would be provided to the district board members is not available to charter school board members. That's something that has not been made available and has really created a gap for our board members of learning their responsibilities. And so that's one piece that we really believe is important, is providing that training and looking at ways to make sure that boards are built with educated, well-trained individuals. The other goes back to sponsorship. The board is responsible for the operation of the school. The sponsor is to hold the board accountable for what happens at that school. It's not a sponsor-principal relation. It's not a sponsor-classroom-teacher relationship. It's the governing board of that school that is to be held responsible. And very often, sponsors and governing boards do not have that connection to really make sure that oversight is taking place. And that goes back to training again, because very often governing boards don't understand, beyond meeting monthly, hearing about what's going on at the school, hearing a nice report, maybe seeing the kids perform, really understand what it is that they have taken on and what they're responsible for. So we really want to work with our sponsors on not only providing the board training, but then on being in communication and establishing that connection with the boards to make sure that they know what's going on in those schools. Very often what we've seen in Missouri is it goes around the board. And so the sponsor ends up working directly with the school principal, and your governing board really doesn't have much idea of what's going on. Or we've seen the other side, which has been to the failure of some of the schools, where the board becomes so engrossed and so involved in the day-to-day operation of the school that it leads to a lot of implication of financial mismanagement and concern over, what's going on. Is it really about education, or is it really in board members' best interest? Are we really just operating an organization for the best interest of board members to better themselves?
Right, and Doug, you mentioned that boards are often made up of well-meaning people that want to engage, and I think in the most positive sense, that's what we have here today, are people that are interested in this issue. They're interested in first and foremost, I know we have different opinions, we have different allegiances and experiences that inform us, but I would hope that our number one priority right now is the students, and it's basically, what is in the best interest of the students. And so I think that's kind of why we're here today. And Kathy, I'm going to ask you this question. So you've been in a lot of different communities with a lot of different charter school environments. And what are some of the ways that a local community can support or engage with charter schools? Because they've got the freedom to make those decisions on their own, that they're individually empowered. And what ways do people engage and support or help improve?
I'd say a community can be involved directly in governance. So strong community civic leadership, business leadership can volunteer to be on the boards of the school in your area. That would be an enormous contribution to these charter school boards, and also to be nominated to be on the board of your state association. Those would be enormous contributions, which we really don't see enough of in many cities. Where it's working tremendously well, I would say one example might be Chicago, where not only is the mayor and the district behind the chartering effort, but so is the entire civic committee, a very formal committee in Chicago, which contributes dollars to the charter